Sharad Pawar is not going to be contesting the Lok Sabha elections. Remember, earlier there was information that had been coming in that he would in fact be going ahead and fighting the elections this time around. Remember, he's a Rajya Sabha MP so far. Let's go straight across to Srinivasan Jain for more on this. Vasu, what do we know? Why this sudden change of decision?
Well, this is the question to which I've also been trying to get some clarification. At the moment, there is none at the that we have that can be reported. But it is somewhat surprising that Sharad Pawar, who just, in fact, as recently as the middle of February of last month, had taken the decision that he will be contesting. So he had, as you know, initially announced his retirement from electoral politics and had sort of stepped back, then decided in the middle of February to contest, he claims, because this was the demand that was coming from the ground and from the workers. But of course, everyone was reading into it the fact that Mr. Pawar still nurtured ambitions of playing some sort of a national role in a kind of post-poll scenario where there would be a multiplicity of parties and it would be very much a repeat of the earlier coalition formulas that we've seen. And in that scenario, whether he would have some sort of a wider role to play. But today has come the news that in fact he's not going to contest. So I suspect that somewhere along the line, Amitosh, this could be linked to the fact that by announcing his decision to contest, he had set the cat among the pigeons. Perhaps that did ruffle some feathers within this Mahagathbandhan or Gathbandhan or whatever you call it, where several other leaders also nurture prime ministerial ambitions. Was that the reason that made him withdraw? Was it something to do with the internal dynamics of the NCP and the Pawar family, who you know are also very much involved in electoral politics? Was that the reason? We'll have to wait and see. But it is interesting that the NCP patriarch, after saying that he is going to step up to the crease, has pulled out once again.
Right. Just a few questions, Vasu, because this has got to be seen in the context of all that's happening in the alliances that are being formed. So far, we're hearing that the alliance between the NCP and the Congress is almost done. But was one of the factors also the reason behind Sharad Pawar deciding not to contest, that he was needed to campaign across the state, and perhaps he wouldn't have been able to do that if he was going back into electoral elections, and particularly in that particular constituency of Madha, where senior leader of his own party, Vijay Singh Mohit Patel, is already a Lok Sabha MP from?
Well, not so much that, Amitosh, because Sharad Pawar is a seasoned politician. He has won from the Madha seat in the past. It is right next to the family pocket borough of Baramati. So that entire region is very much a bastion of the Pawar family. So I don't think he would have faced any risk in terms of tying himself down to a seat. He could have campaigned across the state. He could have even traveled to other parts of the country. So I don't think that was a factor. And even in terms of the Congress-NCP alliance, I mean, it's unlikely that the Congress would have any real issue with Mr. Pawar contesting, because ultimately, at the end of the day, those seats would anyway have gone into the NCP kitty. Those are very much areas where the NCP is very strong, traditional stronghold, so they would not be in the Congress kitty. Somewhere along the line, I suspect, as I mentioned, that this probably has to do with the national political play when it comes to these other alliance partners, who also, as I mentioned, have these prime ministerial ambitions, and whether Mr. Pawar now, who's also, a heavyweight and in some sense is more senior than many of them, whether his entering into the fray has created some kind of clearing of the pitch, and whether that has now led him to reconsider is possibly what could be a reason. But again, this is speculative, and we'll have to wait till we get a credible explanation for what exactly happened.